in the sense of and losing the ball or they recover the ball. Yeah, that's okay.
Well, I see. I see. The lineup, the formation. I said that person was on his Zoom for a year. 3, 2, 4, whatever. I say interesting, man. But what I really take away from the whole thing, is the opportunity that the girls have to travel like the men, to do things like the men, and for me, that's really a big accomplishment. That's more important to me than anything else. You understand?
I just hoping my guy record the game and I'm able to see and then I get some feedback from the staff and we move again.
I'm hoping that the same thing that you do for the boys, you have to do for the girls. Come on, man. This is equal.
That is how it is with me.
Okay.
Had a lot of my time. So hopefully it pays off.
Right.
I show people on call with partner and tell with partner write a video.
iPad 2?
Yeah, iPad 2. Yeah. I show you on call him and tell him.
You must be refreshing his bear, man.
I feel so. Yeah, I get him to come on and do things.
I'm right here. I'm right here listening to every conversation.
And what did they listen? Your protege.
Huh?
This is his team. I saw him lead the warm up. I saw him doing some of your drills. So this thing that it didn't filter down the right way. Come on, man.
Who was my protege?
The assistant coach.
Oh, chap. He will be fine. So don't worry, boy.
I think he need a little update, man. You guys have been away for too long. You haven't seen him in maybe 2 years,
I spoke to him a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah, you need a refresher course, man. Or if not, the Zoom is always, the Zoom is
he need to come up here.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you need to come up here again.
I get a refresher from you firsthand.
Yeah.
But remember, we can't travel and all that kind of stuff now. So, everything is Zoom.
Well, it's tough to do a session with Zoom.
on this platform, this one.
Yeah.
Well, we're missing some, we're missing some key players we're missing, like Patrick. And he came back last time. Everything going smooth on his Zoom change. We argue no more. As soon as he came back.
I will come back to argue with him again. I want to know who got the most goals.
What's the matter?
I want to know.
He reached 5 minutes, No? You sit and start listening,
Boy, that's particular.
You see who had the most goals?
What you talking about?
For the wall, Ronaldo. Messi had the most from international, so maybe he's studying. Wait. Sammy, I hear some young boys deal with your boy.
Yo. I'm gonna be honest. We play like Vinci.
No, man. Yeah, you have to give it time, man. You just can't.
We play like Vinci, like we have no purpose.
That's what I'm not. when these guys are so big, Ronaldo and Messi, right? Like Messi today. Nobody's playing free. They just want to give him the ball. You understand?
And the same thing with Ronaldo. It's like we forget how we used to play before.
Right, exactly. And it's going to take them some time, man. And if you look at his substitution, you know, I mean, he want to rest him because of the turf field. And I really believe that's the reason why he rested him, because of the turf field. And the weekend games is on his mind. You understand? But you can't bring on Lingard. Lingard, they should have got rid of him a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, we could say that. We could say that.
I disagree with you, Sam.
Yeah, I totally disagree.
They're not going to give him. They're not going to give him the time. They're like 6 forwards in front of Lingard. 6 of them.
That's what.
But he getting game time.
That's what happens when you're in a big club. You gotta have a good bench, and that is what Manchester has. It's really the player who has made the decision if you ask it, he wanted to stay.
And he made the decision because he ain't in the contract at all.
Because he want to assure that he gets first team preference.
I think he should have stayed West Ham.
Yeah.
For him.
I personally think he should have stayed and fight.
No, they refuse to sign it. They refuse to let him go.
Yeah.
And they don't. Cavani is there. There are two other guys who are missing from, you know, somebody else missing.
It's a Greenwood, Cavani, Rashford, Sancho, Ronaldo,
the Frenchman.
Marshall. That's 8.
Listen, man.
8 players.
I never read that guy.
Who can play center forward, who can play the 11, and who can play the 7.
So I never read Sancho.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bust. Trust me. That's a bust. Greenwood is much better than he. That's a bust. He's not quick enough. He can't get away.
He's smooth.
He can't get away from defenders.
He's very smooth.
He demands some time, man. If the coach could get work.
I hope so. Because them 2 first games, me say 80 million. Is 80 million? Me see that there too.
You're putting on 1 million. It's 79.
But let me tell you something, man. Coaching is not easy. Understand? I look at PSG today, and they don't have a clue. They don't know what to do. They don't have a clue what to do. But what I do admire, them 2 guys play together, right? And everybody's trying to play like them. Them small touches, passing in between the lines, them little pass, them little hole that trying to get the ball in there. It's tough. It's really, really, really tough. And the defense. Ramos is hurt.
I don't know.
We really need him now. We need him in December.
We realize the man switch allegiance, right? You realize he moved from City to PSG now, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, he never settled, man. Never settled. He just jumping on bandwagon. It's like, I just give him 2-0 and 2 sheets of galvanized. And that's it.
I go with the team that fits my style, my philosophy.
About you think PSG is an individual players.
Who's that?
PSG.
No, man. I just think that
PSG is only individual players. be honest. You look at it. Everybody there is there to make a name for themselves.
No, those guys made a name already. Come on, stop it.
Huh?
They make a name already.
Yeah. So you have to carry on in it.
No.
Everybody
I think how we gonna judge them, you know.
How you going to judge them? I don't think they see how you judge them. I think Messi gone they just to relax for World Cup. That's what I honestly believe. That's not themselves too much and get ready for World Cup.
I think at the end of the day, the goal is to win the Champions League.
and they're not going to win the Champions League because it's too much superstars and
No.
coordination.
No. Give him some time, man. Let's just say, give him some time. Still early.
I think Messi is going to give a good grounding to them.
The Champions League never win in September, man. Yeah, let's start in March now. They got a conversation about.
I think Messi gonna play the 10, actually the 10-year. That's how it is. Messi gonna end up in the center of the park.
Well, he's coming back for the ball and they're looking for him all the time, so he's playing it right now.
As an attacking midfielder.
But the spacing, man, he's just got
He's a very unselfish player. He can play very unselfishly. You know, he has his stats for very high. So he's known for goal scoring. He's made a lot of assists, so he can actually bring people together, and they respect him. So that's important.
You see the shot that he hit the crossbar with? This week, we practiced that shot. And I swear, out of 10, he put in like 8 of them. Same, so it was a little bit different distance. It was straighter on, but for him, is the same shot. And he knows all week. I saw it. He hit 8 out of 10. And the man hit the crossbar with that when he really needed it. But the guy can play, man. I can play. You know, so there you go.
Get a jump. So you see, lady.
I made it late, but I have a question.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys talked about it, but how did the women's team do, the U20s today?
Got an update saying that the game finished 1-1.
Who they play against?
BVI.
BVI.
No, it's US Virgin Islands, man.
No, US Virgin Islands. Stop jumping me now, man. US Virgin Islands.
And play 2-1.
Yep.
Everybody has caught up, man.
Well, you're doing a good job. You are right. Yeah, it's like they have to compete. They can't go to participate. Because I'm judging you on competitions.
No. You might have steps in.
It's like for the past whatever, we were just going there and sitting, and when they call our name, yes, I mean,
5 million down.
I mean, yes, take off. Yes, I mean, take off. No, we are there to put a stamp on things.
So just some updates other than emails. So the under 17s, they are steadily progressing as well. Emails. They have 3 sessions per week, practice sessions, and again on Saturdays, the under 20 mils started their process. Their process is country was zoned in 4, and as I mentioned, we had 2 coaches in each area, and the clubs had to submit names of players. The players show up to these areas, and on Saturday, each zone would play against a different zone. See the players, make a decision on some of them. They go back again another week, and then second week we play again, make a decision on them until we get down to week 3, where we should break down the squad to roughly about 24 players. So in Cameron Park, which would be leeward zone, we had about 27 players. In Central Zone, there was about say 27. Georgia had about 15. Mexico had about 27 as well. So
Okay.
Who's the head coach for the U20?
Sean Williams.
Who's that?
Sean Williams. Before I got it, what they were doing was they were moving up with a group. So those who are under 20 would now go down to 17s, and then they would move up, push up to the senior level. So instead of passing them on, passing on the players, the coaches went to the players. That's
So after the under 20 coach came down.
right. But what I did, instead of doing that, what I did was have both staff work together. So you have roughly 8 persons working with all these players.
Oh, wait. You move up. Well, this is not probably the right time to discuss all of this, before we. But I assume, okay.
Giving you an update. This is what we call play of the week. So instead of having play of the week, I'm giving you a 4 minutes to discuss this and everything. Go ahead, I'll tell you how. Go ahead.
If you feel that you're on the 17 level,
Huh?
how you get promoted? If you feel that you're on the 17 level, you ain't win any games. Or you have to move up. That makes sense?
Oh.
Yeah.
So let's look at it in a different light. You're saying that what they should do is 17 should remain there, as in the coaches for the 17 should remain, and they should move up to the next set of coaches.
Yeah, because you have to have a different philosophy, as we're going to discuss just now.
So, as I said, what they were working with, they came from under 15 with these group of players, and then from under 15 they went to under 17. So the players and the staff keep moving up to different age categories.
But if they really look, obviously, they didn't look at these games. If they had look at the under 15 game, they have the under 15 tournament, okay? And that was when they went to Florida, I think. Then these kids moved to the under 17, and it wasn't any better. So when are we going to stop? And they move them up to the under 20 now. I mean,
we're gonna get right. Do what you say.
Wow.
It's the same context. I'm sure you would want to tell me. If we send them to the under 20 coaches, you can tell me. But the last time the under 20 coaches had the team, how did the team perform?
Not well.
Right. So I have recognized, or we have recognized.
So the whole system is not working.
We have recognized all deficiencies, and we could have been proven. The start was today. We had a 1-hour draft.
Shout out.
Baby.
Shout out, first of all, I'm very disappointed in you. I see you posting all Man City and Argentina. How you posting about the lady Heat? Come on, man. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for something from you. I go to your page, nothing.
They ain't had the game streaming. I don't know. I see Bellies keep posting. I've been looking.
Okay.
It's like I just track and don't have it.
Well, just give it the score now, man. Give it,
I ain't even had the score. It's still the blank.
Okay.
The game done and it's still the blank. Yeah, I hear you, but me hear nothing else outside.
I'm talking to Sabi. Sabi, I'm talking to. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Yes, please.
yeah, have permission to use all these fields, these zonal fields for national training?
I would assume so. Why
Okay.
don't me answer that? I mean, how I should answer? Yes.
Because I try to understand. I got a report that the Camden Park zone had to end training early because the villagers turned up and was making noise for the field. So they had to end the training yesterday early.
That's how it is. That's how it is in Camden Park.
Okay. What did they ask for the field for?
The usual sweating.
The usual what?
Sweat, not training, sweat.
What
Just
does
plain.
that mean?
Just playing. Just put up two small goals and then.
Oh, you mean pickup?
Yeah, pick up. Sorry, I needed to Americanize for you. Sorry.
No, I understand. No, please. I need to learn, different ways of saying it. So that okay, I understand. So these are the adults then, obviously. Yeah. Okay. So they take precedence over the trainings. Okay. Yep. Is there any compromise, or is there a schedule set, like with people from the pickups,
So here's how it is, and this is, just imagine, this is Mr. Alexander and Mr. Carrington's field. This is the same field that they keep talking about. They are very, very organized down there. So they have specific days for specific teams. But in our planning meeting, I was informed that no one is training at the moment. Hence the reason we scheduled that particular park. So it was then informed to me of this particular situation. So I don't know how to work. That's how it is. Just gotta walk around.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Are you planning on changing the location?
No.
Because I understand that you have brought forward the time, but my question here is, what if there is a particular group of players that you all have to make the team, but they have work? Because remember, under 20 players, they're out of school, and a lot of them are working. So by bringing forward the time earlier, that will now become a problem. Or you just leave them out?
No. We'll see them on Sunday in the game.
Wait, now, Sammy, wait now.
It's sad, but
it's sad.
If you can't make the training, you can't make the team. That's how it is.
Okay. Let me say something to that. Okay.
It should indicate and also letters for time off and that kind of stuff. That's obvious, but the process is the process. If you can't shock, then obviously you can't make the team.
And I totally agree with that.
Okay, I agree with that.
It's all about your future. It's all about making a sacrifice. Okay? You can't shock, you can't make the team. It doesn't matter how good you are. And remember, this is a national program. This is a wishy-washy program. We got to set some standards.
Alexander, before you make that statement, look.
I'm gonna make it again.
No. Listen to the questions I just asked. You understand? You can't be so arrogant. You cannot.
Yes, you can. It's his right.
No, I just think, because this is tryout, we want to give everybody a fair chance. I can understand, if that player is selected, then he has to make a decision, regarding, if he's going to be there.
And
you have four sessions and 2 games.
This is the problem with us, to be honest.
Excuses.
This is the problem. We give too much alibi, and
Yeah.
and then we pick our national teams with players who don't come to practice, and then we make excuses for them. It's all about making a sacrifice. Okay, those players are under 20. Like, you don't know who will be straight up at the games. You don't know what your future holds. I'm just sick and tired of excuses all the time. We gotta roll more professionally.
No, Scumler, nobody's taking.
Okay. It comes back to the same thing up here with the national team. Okay? Majority of those kids who used to play for the national youth team, okay? They made that sacrifice. All of them made that sacrifice.
But Scumler,
But Shamba, you forget there's a difference between up there and down here. So you have to be mindful of all of that. You cannot be. Anyways, your opinion is your opinion.
But Scumler, all she asks, because you need to hear the question because you went down with you and
No, I heard the question. She was basically asking if
the guys were working.
If the coaches is giving blind for the guys them who are working.
No, Scrambler. Do not twist the question. I asked Mr. Gordon a question based on the report I got about the conflict between the villagers and the national program training. You understand? I asked the question. If they say 4 o'clock is training, I asked if they have permission to use the field, if they have full access to the field. You understand? Because I don't see if the national team is in preparation for something, why should the villagers be conflicting with the national program? This is a national program I'm asking. You understand? You set a time 4 to whenever, right? Now you have to bring back the time all year. So what if these players, St. Vincent's now 8 to 4 job, most people finish work 5:30. You understand? These kids, you know how St. Vincent is. Don't act like you don't know. You catch? So when you bring forward the time to 3:30 or 3 o'clock, if these kids already asked for time off for 4 o'clock, can they go and approach their employer again? It is already hard to. Not all. This is they're not so easy to get around. Even our national senior male, even our national coaches get problems to attend training on time.
All you can do is get a letter from the federation, and
that will come down the road.
And that would only come if they are selected.
Right, exactly. Scumler. Okay. All we're saying, right? Here you're 17, 18 years old, right? You have waited for such a long time for this opportunity. All we want for them is an opportunity to try out. That's all we want. A fair opportunity. And is in our benefit anyway. We want to recognize, we want the best players on the field. And this is why it's an extensive tryout. It's 4 different areas, right? And they have a lot of games.
Remember, we don't have access to lights, If we have access to lights, we will get better teams. There is so much thing to consider. I don't think all our national programs have the best players. There are players who is going through so much, make sacrifices to make 1 or 2 sessions a week. And sometimes there are people who just can't because, like, for instance, we say Oya, right? Oya people, they really can't attend training because Van come off the road 5 o'clock. You're going to come training 4 o'clock, 4:30 most time. If they say 4 o'clock, training start 4:30. He did it for half an hour. What can a coach see from you in half an hour scrambler? We have to look at all these different things. It's not a hard and fast thing.
Good point.
The Tian did something good by doing zones.
I used to play for Rosians, and we had 2 guys from Beckway, okay, and those guys used to come up, practice, spend the night, go back in the morning. The same thing when we have a game.
It used to happen for me when national was going on too. We had female, but that was when provisions was made. Like everybody want people to go in the place.
And no provision was made for those guys. It's like those guys did it because they wanted to.
What is their scrambler by now by somebody place?
So he this is what I'm saying. They came out, they can stay at somebody place. The people from Ora can stay at somebody place.
This is 2021 scrambler. Everybody, people are not the same like back in the day. People are not so friendly.
I think all it kind of going on a road that is necessary. We're going to cross that bridge when we get there. Okay. See if it will hang up somewhere. Probably outside on the line. Put them outside. Yeah.
Is it a possibility to obtain some portable lighting?
40,000. They have one on me.
They had one.
Like the ones that run on generators.
They have one
smaller ones.
They had a set of 4. They were all destroyed because they didn't take care of them.
40,000 US.
So,
what would be convenient for the national team to have for certain the daylight hours, or to have for certain the nighttime hours?
every time has its challenges. I'm not sure. I can't answer the nighttime because what nighttime would bring would be, especially in the younger age, it would be transportation, and if parents would be willing to allow their kids to stay overnight, for example, in the football center. So that would be another challenge within itself.
Man, there's no way it should be in the evening. It should supposed to be like 9 o'clock in the morning. At the 40 side. Why?
Can't be 9 in the morning either.
Why?
Work.
Which age group we talking about?
Is you 20?
Are people who can work?
What way?
What do you mean, Sammy? You forget in the age group here. So in St. Vincent, we have a lot of teenage parents. They have responsibilities, you know.
Listen to me. If you're a soccer player, the first thing is football and walk. The first
Sammy,
thing,
there is nothing going on here in St. Vincent with football. So people cannot make that sacrifice that easy.
It's not a sacrifice.
Even with it is a sacrifice. Is it that you choose football or you choose walk and your family?
But
then what football ain't doing nothing for nobody. But all not understanding. They want to have both because
they can't do both.
If football, what is football doing for them in St. Vincent? What are they gaining?
You can't do both.
What are they benefiting, Sammy?
It's such a contradiction that this is a reality what you're saying, Shadell, and it's so sad. But the contradiction between that reality and how much the villagers want the practice field for their football, rather than, I'm just trying to understand this, rather than for helping the national team start kind of creating a more progressive program.
So it comes
Like, it doesn't make
down-
sense to me. It feels like don't some of them have kids who play also? It would seem.
So it comes down for me at least. The for lack of a better word, the respect for the national program. So in the context of how people look at our national football at the moment, it doesn't have that level of respect that it should. So, for example, the national team will be training and people just decide they're gonna come on the field and they can do whatever they want. It's an issue because there are limited tools. And then the government itself causes the issue by one, for example, when football wants a field, they give football a field that is in a village and they don't give the villagers a field. So, for example, let's use the same particular field. They would develop that field for the use of the national team, but they don't create a new space for the villagers to use. So obviously, the villagers are gonna use the park the same way, and it's the issue I'm having at the national center at the moment. So at Brighton, the villagers they would go onto the field that was just constructed for the development of the national team because they have no other field for them to use.
Guys, why is it so last minute? I mean, the competition is now a month and a half from now. Why are we not getting anything together? Trials, really?
But about look who's talking. I'm trying to say. Like everything got to be in effect now. And you guys making the park an excuse.
Let me ask a question. When was it announced that this competition was to take place?
I don't have a clue. I think
Listen, it announced
Right,
recently.
so calm down. Was this competition postponed?
Yeah, but
Yes, it was. So yes, it was. Yes, it was. Hold on. It was postponed. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
But you guys
Right.
knew it was going to be this year.
And then they said 2 weeks ago the competition is gonna start in this particular period. Then you all behave as if football is going on in the country as a result of COVID. So I really sometimes I try to understand. I get your passion, but sometimes you got kind of to realize what's the situation, what's happening.
The situation is that you guys did not know. You guys, a lot of people, in your meetings that you have, which I'm hoping is a weekly meeting, right? It was never discussed with the under 20 that this might happen at this time. So it was a surprise to everyone.
So again, but you just agreed with me that the competition was postponed. So why wouldn't it be a surprise to us?
But in your weekly okay, wait, hold up, Scrum. Remember, okay, you're preparing for the under 17. Everything's going fine in terms of preparation. The under 20, women, right? The senior women. Okay, how you all can drop the ball on the under 20?
How did we drop the ball on the under 20 when the competition was postponed and put off? And then 2 weeks ago they decided no, they're gonna have tell me. And then the CMO said that persons can't train up the football. They gave
you the first one training up there? Everybody training up there.
This is the national program, sir. This is a different context.
Let me just say something quickly. Okay. We understand. We understand what is happening. Okay, we understand what is happening. So we gotta get the ball moving as soon as possible. Bring every entity and no excuse.
Okay. So come on, let me just hit on this, right? And this is me, right? If I'm the head coach of this team, right? I want 60 players. Okay? 60 to look at. 60 players to look at. Right? And based upon my training, I'm cutting players every week. Okay, because I'm trying to get down to 30 something as quickly as possible, right?
Mhm.
And if you have proper training, players will improve. When
Ye-
I like I said,
Yeah,
when I had a national, hold up. When I had a national team, right?
Look at how they got to do it now.
No, hold up. I had a national team, right? I chose 42 players. Tati was the 42nd player. Okay. In 6 months, he moved from 42 to 18. So we don't know who is going to improve during the training session leading up to our game in November. You understand? So I don't want it's wrong just to
And you said in 6 months. In 6 months. Oh, okay. In 6 months.
right.
About look at the time frame, Gretchen.
And this is why we will never win. This is why we will never win.
Yeah, but look at the time frame and look at what they have set up now.
I would not put myself in that situation. Trust me. I don't. Okay, wait. I want another thing, right? If one center they win one part, suppose they not cut any before the competition. Suppose the head coach like the one from out win one, and the coach from out win one they like him. I mean, it's just
I know when they bring every coach will be there during the game, analyzing.
Nah, he don't listen.
Every coach will be there during the game. For me, as a coach, practice don't really say nothing.
I'm surprised with you. Listen to me. I'm surprised with you. Wait, hold up. I'm disappointed in you because practice is more important.
Yeah,
to analyze the play than the game.
About the game is the examination time.
No, it's not.
No, you could win a practice.
It's not about winning. No, it's about improvement.
Yes, and it's building up to that.
Okay, because your philosophy and my philosophy is different. Just teach us something about this different philosophy.
Yeah, let me go with that, yeah.
I'll learn something tonight. A lot of people need to hear this philosophy thing. Trust me.
No. Sammy, look at the time frame.
Okay, all right. Let me just start off with this philosophy thing. Philosophy is a plan. You understand what I'm trying to say? Obviously, they're not going by any philosophy. There's no plan.
How you know there's no plan?
You understand what I'm saying?
How you know there's no plan?
Man, come on.
If there wasn't a plan, how did they go to the zones? How is this they gonna play on Saturdays and bring the groups together? How is there no plan?
Man, Scrambler, and this is the last time before we start with topic. What we two words that there's used something?
I'm a guy on what?
Bogus.
I'm a guy on bogus.
Just remember that two words.
I'm lost as to why those two words were used.
All right, that's all right.
I'm trying to understand. So you're saying, right? Here's why it's interesting. You're saying you would choose 60 players, right? Yeah. Okay, fine. Where are you gonna get the 60 players from?
From the clubs.
How?
Because you say it's full from every club and every position, whatever.
How?
I mean, how? You all sent out a memo to the club already, asking them for the players. And this is why they show up. But that's why I got them. You get them the same way. You don't need.
So okay, calm down. So we have, let's say 20 and 25 in one area, 25 in one area, that's 50. Then we have 15 in another area, that's 65. And then we have another 20 in another area. What is your problem? I don't understand your problem.
The main person right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is you. And Bishon is the coach now, and his assistant coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Me know all them other coaches, we are other coaches before. Because so obviously you always see them at the game, obviously. Okay? But I just want they to come under the coach's philosophy, his playing style.
Again, you need to ask some questions. So there are 4 zones, all right? And there's 4 coaches working with Bishan. Each of the 4, one is in each zone, and there are 4 coaches from the other team that match up. One from each group matches with the other one. So, what's your next point and question? Let me hear you. Let me hear you go over some.
I just think that.
Me again.
I like. Again, I think.
So let me tell you before you talk again. Let me tell you something again. Understand this. There isn't with me. There isn't any. For example, staff. Our staff is everybody. Everybody is responsible for everything.
Okay, listen to me. I have seen Bishan practice. It's tremendous. This kid is one of the up and bright coaches in Vincy. But he has to get under the right people, right? I have confidence in him. Right? But
and I get the piece of the bad piece.
If when I'm coaching,
like
I want some of the players. I want to see every practice. I want to see every practice.
You go and see every practice now?
If it's me at Bishan, I'm at every practice during the week. I don't even want to train any team. I go around to every practice. I'm telling you, the more you see the players play, is the better judgment you're gonna have of them. And I don't want your eye to see them. This is my team.
So let me ask you a question. The 4 players that the club decided to send, did he see them to decide who should come?
Well, when they arrive, are we gonna see them when they arrive?
So the coaches that they are coming from, they have a misguided view of what he might want.
A misguided view.
Yeah. So in your mind, you're saying that the staff, quote unquote, the staff doesn't have the capacity to select or to choose the players. Then why have a staff?
It has to come from the head coach.
What has to come from the head coach?
The selection of the team has to come from the head coach.
So again, is there a criteria for selection?
Of course, every coach have their own philosophy, which we're going to discuss just now.
Okay, and if the coach has a philosophy, does his staff has to understand his philosophy?
Of course, you have to understand philosophy.
Can his staff go to a zone, apply the philosophy, and select a player?
No.
No?
Not yet.
Why
the
not?
Staff now come together. The staff now to come together.
And we just, before I began, we said this is the same staff from under 17 to under 15 to under 17 now to under 20. So how they now come together?
Because the under 20 is this is a different rule.
How?
The game is faster.
How is it
the game
different?
Is harder.
How is it different? It's the same group.
Man.
All we did was open it up to get a better view of more players. Because I personally felt that the training of the national team is based around the central zone and wherever the field is. So whoever lives close to the field naturally has an advantage of me. Hence the reason I went to the players, or as close as possible to the players, to give everybody a chance. Okay, sir?
All right.
Make sense? No? Don't make sense? No?
I just think that, we short. We have so much things to do. And it's not enough time. A month.
What are you talking about, sir? This is not nothing new. You're worrying about the wrong set of things, sir. Worry about the process. Can we get the process right? When we get the
What?
process right, then we'll start to see changes. So what
Well,
we're
I know
working
you.
on,
I know you'll get it. I know you'll get the process right. I know that. That's easy.
process, that's what we're
That's the
working
easy
on.
part. You understand? But they catch you off guard, and you
What?
can't say they catch you off guard. You wasn't ready for this because you studying the women's. You have to make sure that and you all do a good job with the women's program in terms of getting them to train. And getting them out. They look like I saw them in a pool stretching, and they look good.
They look,
You
they
understand?
look
Saying?
proper. They
Yes,
look
come on,
proper.
man. Yes, you understand? So
They're happy. They're
Yeah,
happy.
the real proper.
they look
They
good. They
look
look
very
good.
cohesive, very
Yes,
united, very organized,
right.
very professional.
And kudos to you, Tia. Kudos to you.
But that
Okay.
being that
The
that being
staff,
said,
man, the staff needs all the credit. Nah, the
That-
staff
that-
needs all the credit.
that being said, we ain't see the possession game yet. Yes, camera.
It coming. It coming. Coming. It coming.
All right, guys.
Tia. I don't want to turn on my TV and see like how you play for Gigi Bells, and I will turn it off.
This camera, you're gonna see these things, man. It's a tough process for the ladies, man.
It's a process, man. It's a
Yeah,
process.
tough.
We get it. But as you say, before us, and we will close off. I was kind of gauging it, so we will close off in the next week. The idea was always, or the beginning process was always, can we first work on the image and how we look, and then it would translate to the behavior of the players. So when you said you saw that image and you saw the picture, you could recognize
Yeah.
that there's some emphasis placed on that particular. And the staff really, they really just need direction, and everybody have their specific role and function. And they're good.
Yeah.
They're good to
Honestly,
go.
honestly.
They're good to go.
The social media campaign is looking really nice too.
But the girls,
Where it takes you from one place to the next and it shows the experience with a little bit of music. It's not too long. It shows
Well, let me-
positivity.
let me tell you something, right? The most impressive people in the association is the girls them. You understand? The girls them who run it, they have been around it for 20, they've been around it for like 20 years, most of those girls. They could work, they know exactly how to run an association. The people above them is a different story. You understand? But those girls, whether it's Jesse, the marketing director, what's our girl name? The one who always go to the bank all the time, Shelly. Those girls, they're competent, they're tremendous. You understand? And it shows. I'm so impressed. I look at Grenada, I'm looking at St. Vincent. I'm so impressed with these girls, man. And what we have to do. We can, after this competition finish, we got to continue. The training has to be, like football training, man. Come on.
So that's my struggle at the moment.
Yeah.
Because I don't really think it should continue in the same context. What I really think should happen is clubs should now take up the man plan, really
Yeah.
start pushing, right? But I get the context that the club's not really working. So we're gonna have to figure out some way
Yeah.
of doing it, because we're gonna have to figure out how to reduce costs as well.
Man,
Right.
I'm coming back to this thing, right? The zones and the community. I believe in zones. I believe in community. I think that's it. Football has to come from the community, right? And the clubs have to come from the community. Because when it comes from the community, you have an interest in there because it's your people. You know firsthand these people. You want to develop more time. You want to make more sacrifices and make sure that they have what they need to be successful. And it has to be like that, 24/7, all throughout the country. This is how you develop clubs. This is how, especially on the women's side, we need more women to play football because of the opportunity that they have out here. You understand? You think it easy to pay $20,000 to go to school? You understand? How is we poor people down there? How else could we get out if it's a football? And we have to tell them that. We have to tell the parents have to understand that. And some of them are young. Some of the parents are young. You understand? So they have to understand that, how important sport is. Everybody talking about academics. Okay? Sport is just as important as academics. They go hand in hand. So we have to encourage that. We have to sell the national program, because they're the leaders of the future. If not for them, where are we going to go? And we say football is down in Vinci. And we got to bring him back up.
Philosophy, developing a coaching philosophy. So we hit the time. So we're going to be finished by 10 so I can go and study.
Right. We studying for a bit. In school, sir?
I've been in the classroom doing physical education for the past 9 years. I need to get back myself up to date as it relates to the private sector. And all right. Okay. All right. So let's go. The measure of who we are is how we react to something that doesn't go our way. The measure of who we are is how we react to something that doesn't go our way. Greg Popovich. So for tonight, what we're going to be looking at is defining philosophy, coaching philosophy, developing a coaching philosophy, own your coaching philosophy, your coaching philosophy, and coaching for character and self-assessment and questions on developing a coaching philosophy. So the reason I allowed for the conversation before is so that we could get in that mode of conversing, because the presentation is one where I will be asking questions to get your feedback in terms of what you think and how you will approach different questions I'm going to ask. All right. So when we talk philosophy, what we're looking at is basically what is knowledge, how should we conduct ourselves, and how should we govern ourselves. If you look at this particular context, it's in a cycle. So it's always what is the knowledge, how should I react to the knowledge, and how should I govern myself. So it's more or less always having to do with me. Do I know me? Do I have the knowledge for this particular thing? How do I react as a result? It is always about you, the individual, and how you feel and how you approach things. So when we talk philosophy in terms of definition, it says it's a love and pursuit of wisdom by intellectual means and moral self-discipline, the system of thought based on or involving such inquiry. The critical analysis of a fundamental assumption or beliefs. So you're trying to figure out something, a set of ideas or beliefs relating to a particular field or activity and underlying theory. So in essence, it is your process of searching for knowledge. And as a result of searching for knowledge, how do I conduct myself? How should I govern myself as a result of it? Now that I have the knowledge, the process continues again. So it is basically my method or process of gaining or understanding a particular situation. So when we talk coaching philosophy, what it is about is the what, why, and the how. So a philosophy removes the uncertainty about many facets of coaching. Your philosophy consists of major objectives, are the things you value and want to achieve, your beliefs or principles that help you to achieve your objectives. Whenever we are in the chat, Sammy, Alexander, Vicky, Shadel, most of the time when you begin a statement, you say, I believe, it is my opinion. It is because of this why we are saying, or we would understand that philosophy is based upon the individual and how they see and feel and interpret any given situation. And most of the times, when we react to something, it is because of our values and our experiences that we may have gained before the situation or experience in that particular situation. So when we look at developing a philosophy, it involves developing great self-awareness to get to know yourself before, or better basically. So the first thing in gaining or understanding philosophy is first understanding who you are as an individual, what you want, what are your expectations, what are your values. If you do not understand yourself, then obviously you will not be consistent in your beliefs and what you want to achieve. So, for example, if you look at it in a coaching extent, do I know who I am as a person? And how do I deal with other persons as a result of who I am? Do I place myself in situations so that I can excel? If I don't know who I am, then I would not be placing myself in the best situations. All right. So in the first instance, one has to do some introspection and try to understand who I am and be self-aware of oneself. In understanding who you are, you will obviously know what gets me angry, what makes me happy, why I behave the way I behave, how do I avoid certain situations, and so forth. Similarly, in the sporting field, it's the same context. If you look at it in terms of the game, you have to have a clear idea of how you want to play. If not, your sessions will be all over the place and you'll be confusing the players. From developing a greater self-awareness, it is deciding what your objectives are in coaching. So your objectives will shape many of your behaviors as a coach. So if it is you are a coach who wants to win, it will be defined by winning. If you're a coach who believes in holistic development, your decisions will be based around that. If it is you are a coach who are coach-centered, then your decisions will be based on that particular thing that you are deciding on. All right. So first is understanding yourself, then deciding on your objectives. Then you have to believe in something. The basis of coaching is this. You gotta believe. I believe that the best way the game should be played is like how Barcelona plays. Or I believe the best way the game should be played is how Manchester plays. In understanding this particular context, you are for something. Instead of I flip and flop from different places and not being true to a specific thing. That in itself can be a philosophy, meaning you are a chameleon and you could adapt to different situations. So you could believe in that particular thing as well. So I'll pause here for any comments or questions.
Question. Does a coach philosophy change depending on who he's coaching? Or if you have several different teams, if you have a youth team or you have a senior team, obviously your philosophy would change. Isn't that correct?
I am not sure what you're asking.
Okay, like here I have 4 different teams.
Mhm.
If I have a youth team, right? Some of my goals, right, is to establish like teamwork,
Is it that your philosophy changes or is it that your style of coaching changes?
Probably. I think.
So I give you an example.
If you're setting goals now.
I give you an example. So I know myself, right? I don't
Mhm.
like to be late. I
Right.
don't want my players to be late.
Right.
So one of my objectives would be to make sure that the players are showing up on time.
Right.
And I believe if they show up on time, then we will be able to maximize the time we have together and the players going to improve. Does that change from under to
No, it doesn't.
That's my philosophy. No. If I am coaching, and we had this discussion last week with Vicky and Mr. Scoop. If I am coaching, or would we say, if I am teaching an under 6 player versus if I am dealing with the under 17 player with the coaching.
Right.
So the style of which I deliver the session may be different, but my values remains the same. I as an individual remains the same, but the approach to which I use or the style may vary because of the different type of players that I'm involved in.
Oh, okay. You mentioned my why and all that kind of stuff, right? And what? So the what now, right? In coaching my youth team, if I ask the question, what are my goals in coaching a youth team? So it could be, participation. I mean, have them see their character and all that kind of stuff, right?
Develop the character.
Right. But if I is coaching a national team now, there's a sense of, all of these things would make the end product, which is the national team, successful.
Yeah.
So I think I answered my question there,
I'm glad I was giving you a chance to.
Yeah, I think I answered my question there. So it doesn't really change, really.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I answered my question there. When I really look at it, because
it builds level by level.
Yeah.
To get to where you want it to be.
Right.
It builds level.
Because as you mentioned there, right, all of these things, like with the senior team now, time management, similar to you. I have never been late for practice in 18 years. Never. I always reach an hour before. Especially if, I have never missed a college practice in 17 years. Never. I've never missed a game either, thank God. I've never late for practice, never. So when you mention all of these things starts when you start coaching, and it goes and it builds.
Yep.
It builds. So this is why and you started off perfectly. This topic perfectly.
Go ahead, Mr. Alexander. See.
Yeah, I think your philosophy, it never changes. You just have to walk with the players you have, and bring them up to speed. And no, for instance, if you have a structure and you just go into a club and you want to implement the structure, you cannot go and say, well, okay, this is my structure right away. It's week by week, and patient should always be exercised. If you have a group that always be goofing off and not taking anything serious, you basically give them time to adjust to your way of doing things. And if you give them time and you see that you're not making any progress, then you can enforce whatever structure. I mean, with that word, I think that word is a very strong word, whereby you have different implementation of the word philosophy.
Yep.
But
So let me zone in on something, right? Let me zone in on something. Zone in on the two of you, right? So philosophy for Mr. Alexander is building out of the back through the lines, using the midfield, and gradually progressing up the field. Whether or not he is coaching under 6, under 7, under 15, under 17, over 23, under 23, that is what he is going to teach. Difference would be at the lower levels, he will break down that particular style simply. And as it builds, he makes it a bit more complex. But his philosophy is across the board. At least his philosophy of play. That's what we looked at.
Okay.
Similarly, Sammy, his philosophy is, for example, in transition to defense, it is not the high press, but to drop off and protect the goal. Doesn't matter what age he goes to. That is what he believes in. That is what you're gonna see this team. With me? Agree?
okay, so wait up. Goals and priorities. Changes.
Yes, the change.
Right. Depends on the team that you're coaching.
Yeah.
So all of these things, when we mention about philosophy, what is and all of these things, and how we and most important, Danny, and I know you'll like this one, is how you really communicate it now. To the different players.
Yeah. The thing about philosophy, and I think this goes across the board, is that we don't recognize, and I'm talking Simmons here, that the players have to believe in what you believe. So your job as a coach is to convince them that this is the right way to play.
Right. Coming back to what Scrummer was saying there, and I don't think I like that thing that you say at the beginning, Scrambler, it goes from week to week. So why can't you come in like how Tian coming here tonight?
I'm saying you can't really go in and stronghold things.
It's not stronghold. Why you using stronghold?
Okay. Let me give an example. And you and I discussed this numerous times. I have the WYSL 2007 and the WYSL 2008.
Right.
And I mean, those kids who they play in the WYSL, they get one orange short. They bring their own black pants, their own black socks, and the parents pay $700 for the year. Okay. Those kids came and it like, oh, okay, it comes like bring a friend. Okay? It comes like, yeah, okay, I'm playing for this regular travel team. And so let me tell my friend, So my friend came and bring another friend, and this friend came. So the goofing off get excessive. From day one, and until I nip it in the butt. Those kids know that they're not gonna make the premier team. So the basically is there playing with my friend, hanging out with my friend. I see my friend in school. Then after school, I go home, get something to eat, and come to soccer practice. I see my friend for the second time. So how could you change that?
Okay. I think you kind of have everything mixed up, eh?
So let me kind of we'll continue because we're talking more here. Gonna come later on down. So I just gonna give you one last thing to think about before I move on. Will, and this is to Sammy, will Jose Mourinho ever get the chance to coach Barcelona? What do you think?
No, because the philosophy is different.
All right, so we can move. Let's go. All right, so he laughed.
Listen with a while. I am my mind now in football is youth football. So I used to thinking about everything is youth, you know.
So okay, let me give you a different perspective to look at it. You're hiring a coach. Your youth program. If that coach tells you the only way to play football is to high press after losing the ball, you can hire him?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, how I see this thing, right? Coaching, right? Like, for example, you're a TD. And there has to be a plan. And philosophy is really, you know, in sports, it's a plan. And Scrum, and this is where you're getting away from. It's a plan of how you're going to improve these players and coaches, yeah, from a technical perspective.
Yeah.
How are they going to learn it in a consistent manner, so to speak? Right? Both the players.
So let me give you an example of that. My philosophy is the individual force.
Right.
So develop the individual force,
yes,
and then the football.
Exactly. And that says it right there. That says it right there. And I think that
and it basically come back to the same thing. The same thing that I was saying. You can't go and stronghold your whole team and see all you gotta do is pull a player 1v1 and say, well, okay, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I need. But you gotta do it in such a way where you can come off in a way where the players feel uncomfortable.
Well, no, remember you just talked about the communication part of it now. It's very important how you deliver it to them. So what we're saying, what we want you to understand, okay, because you're speaking from your personal experience of your time coaching, but I want you to remove yourself from that and come to where.
General.
Let's answer that question by the clip that's on the screen.
I'm also talking in general.
Let's answer it by the clip on the screen. It is better to go down with your own vision than with somebody else's.
Yeah.
Football is a game you play. It's your brain. So it's what you believe and what you know about you and how you feel about yourself. The most important ingredient of a philosophy is that you own it. This is mine. This is who I am. Adapting the tenets of someone else's philosophy without acting in a way that is consistent with these tenets is deceiving to yourself and others. A philosophy is expressed by what you do, not what you say. So here it is. Once you have developed your philosophy or your beliefs, you have to own it. You have to be that philosophy. An athlete, your athletes are much more likely to become what you are than what you want them to be. Have you ever recognized that most of the people who are around you start behaving like you? So that is just a context of understanding philosophy. If you do not know yourself and who you are, and if you're not consistent about who you are, then what are you teaching the ones around you? Because more than likely they're going to follow what you do and not necessarily what you say. All right?
So,
Yes,
so
sir.
you as a technical director now, right? You have all of these coaches now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to implement your philosophy. Right? No.
You
when
gotta be
teach it-
you gotta be specific. What are you talking about?
okay, you're developing the coaches now.
Mhm.
All of the coaches around you to play a system of play or whatever, you know. I mean,
Mhm.
for me, really, right? Football, the reason why I coach is to play the game on Sunday,
Mhm.
right? And this is why I love the Zoom. The game on Sunday, it shows 4 components of football. The 4 components, you know, that we always mention of football. Tactically, technical, and all that kind of stuff. Physical and all that, right? And based upon that, right, it shows us our philosophy of play. So after we express our philosophy to the coaches now, the coach might have a different philosophy that he, you know, that he believes in, which is okay. And he has to really implement his philosophy in order to grow as a coach. Is that correct, Ian? Something like that?
So
Go, you teaching me something.
in the first place, in any environment, we should try to hire persons who fit our philosophy, our belief.
Okay.
All right. So that's key. Now, what if it's the other way? Persons are already there. They have a different style and a different philosophy. How then do we get them to recognize that there are other ways to do things or there are more efficient ways to do things? So now, is it that one has to adopt the philosophy that exists and evolve, or does one try to change immediately? That's a question you have to answer in the context of you have to first understand the environment, who the people are, and know how to cope and deal with them. Because you would eventually be the black sheep if you go in and try to change,
right,
quote unquote, a culture or an environment. So
but it's the same thing I was saying. You can't just go in and change things.
Right. I agree with you on that.
Okay. Let's come and listen to this, right?
You got to be able to feed things in.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, listen to this.
It's a process.
No. You guys listen to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the national level, member associations, right? They bring in a foreign coach to coach the senior team. Normally, everybody leaves him alone because the reason why he was hired is based upon his philosophy.
I do agree. I disagree in some extent. I disagree in the context of here in St. Vincent, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have a philosophy. We don't believe in one specific thing. We are chameleons. So if a quote unquote foreign coach comes in
Mm.
and we figure he has a good resume,
Right.
he will get hired. But have we recognized does this person understand who we are as a people, how we play football?
No.
Hence the reason none of them in the past have ever been consistent and last for a long period of time.
Right.
If you look at Zoran Brands and Sammy Carrington, there's a reason why your specific time was successful. It is because you would have lived as Vincentians. You understand the culture and the people and the philosophy of how we live socially. So you tend to adapt a little bit better to our conditions and our situations a lot easier than other person.
Let me just say.
Wait about the words.
I'm referring to you. I'm referring to you and that statement.
Before you refer to me, Scumla.
No. Let me hit this. You had the under 20 team.
Yeah.
Okay? And you implement your philosophy.
Yeah.
Okay? And then after a while, those same kids go past your philosophy and went back to their own style. Okay? Went back to their own style. Why?
Can I jump in there? Jump in there? Okay. So think about it this way. We are building a house. Sammy comes and Sammy says, this is the way the wall is to be built. All right? But then I come and I say, no, this is not the way the wall is supposed to be. So I'm going to break it down. Then Alexander's going to come and then he's going to do his own thing. Now, as an organization, if there's an architect and if there's a contractor, no matter who gets employed, what should happen is I should build on the foundation that Sammy had created, and similarly, you should build on the foundation that I would have created. So the wall continuously grows, but it evolves based on the persons who are involved. But because all of the persons who are involved in that process believe in totally different philosophies, we tend to stay one place or go several steps backwards.
Okay. Like, for example, right now in Trinidad, right? They now hire a women's coach, a new women's coach, right? All of the things that they're talking about there in terms of, the guys who have grown the program for them to reach that far. Trinidad have a pretty good women's team at the senior level. He has ignored all of that. He has failed to hire anyone. He doesn't ready. And this is what he said. They're not coaches. And bear in mind, he has never coached any national team before, You understand? And these guys have coached and they are more successful than him, more experienced than him, coaching at national level. And he doesn't recognize them. And he said they're not coaches. So my thing regarding that now, these foreign coaches, when they come in, the association, they have a blind eye to what these guys are doing. Because, they think that because these guys coming from foreign, that they're really better than,
In most instances, they are better in some contexts. So for example,
organization.
Right. They might have more experience in terms of number of games, the different styles of playing and different environments. But as it relates to, can he relate what Trinidadian and understand what it means to be Trinidadian and what football is for a Trinidadian and how to get the best from a Trinidadian? He could never be as good as a
Exactly.
Trinidadian.
And by saying that, right, just flip it to the men's side now. They had a foreign coach before, and now they hire a local coach. And and he is so lucky. He was put in a position whereby he had to play and succeed immediately, which he did. So this is why eventually he got the job. You understand? But he was in the same boat as the women coaches, who they ignore. So their philosophy of hiring is all over the place. And as you know, Tian, you can't be all over the place when you're hiring, there has to be a consistent, in philosophy, right? Consistency.
Correct.
Is so important.
Own it. So, what are the three major objectives of sport? What are you guys thinking? Shadel, Vicky, what are you thinking? Akeem, what are you thinking? Muhan, I saw him earlier yesterday. What are you thinking? What are the three major objectives? Sammy.
I think that depends on who you are.
Okay. So give me one from your perspective. I'll give you three.
Hard work.
Hard work.
Could
Of sport. Go ahead.
one could develop good character.
Okay.
The other one could be develop a healthy lifestyle.
Uh-huh. Fitness. What Sammy want to do on Sunday?
Win the game.
Win the game, man.
You could create leaders, sportsmanship, people who are, teach sportsmanship.
Character building.
Yes, character building.
So,
learning how to work in groups.
Correct. So it's interesting, It's interesting, Vicky, that you can mention so many, but yet we can't seem to recognize these same things here. Or even if we recognize them, we don't know how to implement or to get it. So that's a ticklish state for us right now. But
before we move on from this thing, all of these things that Vicky just mentioned there, right? As Tian say, you have to own it. You can't compromise all of these characteristics that Vicky just mentioned. That has to be stable as a ball coach, in my opinion.
So next one, this is Vicky on the next one. Help at least to have fun. This is Vicky on up and down.
Yes, absolutely.
Next one, just to cover everything that you said and everybody said, help athletes to develop as a person. So within this context, obviously, if I believe that it is about winning, then my philosophy will be get around that particular. If my philosophy is about fun, then obviously everything I do will be based around that. And obviously,
hold on, Tia. Hold on. As I discussed with Mr. Carrington, okay, it was the same thing when I had the 2008 and the 2007. I went to the director and I'm like, what kind of team you give me? What kind of kids are they? And he said to me, these kids are just there to have fun. So you really cannot implement a structure. You just gotta let them have fun.
No.
Similarly, right. So that's the context there again. So you gotta match the coach with the objective.
So this is why the interview process is very important.
Correct.
So now, and I think one of these sessions we have to have about interviewing and all that kind of thing. It goes hand. No, Scholar, no, this is really important,
About within within a couple of games, I was removed from those teams.
Exactly, because you have different philosophy than
he probably been cussing them regular, but he control the ball. Pass the ball.
No. I couldn't understand the fun thing, and I couldn't understand the joking around thing.
Okay.
Next time you got involved.
So then,
yeah.
Coach Crumbler adapt to the owner philosophy.
No.
To save his job.
No. Well, yes, but he wouldn't be happy.
Right. So
and then the kids would not develop as they should.
Okay, hold on. So he has been with this club. He has been with this club for 4 years, right? He can't be happy because his philosophy and the owner's philosophy is different.
Correct.
But he has some success. He has a more successful coach there. So there's a conflict there, somehow.
But could we agree that he could do better if both philosophies were aligned?
Yes.
Then obviously the resources gonna be different.
Yeah.
The way it function gonna be different. Yes, he gonna be successful because of who he is, right. But he not gonna be happy.
Right.
And I love to be happy.
No, guys, no, this is really okay. Guys, this is very important. And when you're in that situation, you have to be in BPI. You understand? So when I went to BVI, right, in the interview process, so you discuss, the salary and all that kind of stuff. And what do you want to do? What are you going to bring to the program? So I'm telling them, what I'm going to do, bring to the program, we have to start in the primary schools. And they agreed upon that. You understand? When I get there now, they switch on me. They tell me what's some after school program. I said, no, there's no way I can go in there. My philosophy is I have to go into the primary schools and start it in the primary schools. And from the primary schools, we move it to the after school program. But you guys are skipping the basic part of it. From the primary school program, you're going to have more success, more participants in the after school program. Currently, your after school program, we have 3 kids, 8 kids. And I ain't come here to babysit, 8 kids. I come here to develop a program. And this is how I speak to them in the meeting, which was really, that professional.
What was in basic terms?
That's the way how to go. All right, let's go again. Your coaching philosophy. So now I want to hear you guys on what you're thinking, okay? I want to hear you. So, which one? Athletes first, winning second.
It all depends on what level of student.
But it depends. It's like I don't know about down there, but up here, you gotta look at how much the parents pay. And
how how much the parents pay dictate the philosophy?
I mean, are the winning philosophy?
So does winning means that it cannot be fun?
Some parents, they just want to show up at the game and okay, we win the game. So we win the league. It doesn't matter how crappy the team play. You win the league. Oh, okay. Let me take out my checkbook.
If you do the right way, Scamla, athletes first and winning the game. That's consistent. That's a plan. That's consistent. That's
but you know how these white parents stay up here.
But no. But
so let's look at it. Let's look at it different. If I take care of Scrambler, if I make sure he's good, he gets what he wants, would it be more likely that Scrambler would go and excel and execute what needs to get done? Bosses go onto the pitch, and all I tell them to do is kick the ball down, play the ball, and shout and scream and yell. If we take care of the people who are around us, they usually would give us back twofold on whatever they need to do. If we develop them, then they build.
I personally, I don't care about the parents.
you're not supposed to.
So that's the philosophy there.
I fight with parents all the time.
You're not supposed to. This is why they're on the other side. You on one side, and they're on the other side.
Let me give you an example. I'm coaching the White Plains Tigers, and we were top of the league, and we played in the last place team. And we had a train, and my best player, his mom tell him, "Oh, go get the ball," and he went and go get the ball, and we losing 2-1. I'm telling them, numbers up, get the numbers up. He went, throw the ball to the other forward. The defender just get the ball, boom it down. And the next week, every parent show up at the game. I went in the stand, and I give two friggin' lollipops.
Yes, sir.
And they asked, "Coach, what's this for?" I said, "For you to suck on and shut up.
Oh, so really?
Suck on, watch the game, and shut up. So you occupy your mouth, sucking on the lollipops."
Did you really do that?
Huh? I swear to God. And then we start playing again because it was less instruction from the parents, because they were feeding into my philosophy.
So athlete development comes
With the parents.
You keep working.
Just, be your section. Like, hustling, go big work.
Right. So athlete development comes first. Coaches who concentrate only on winning neglect overall athlete development. Winning is an outcome-based short-term goal and is many times out of the coach's hands. You're not in control of who win or lose. You could hope that they execute what you need. So here's the next one. Winning versus participation. We already know what Sammy can say. We already know what Alexander can say. We already know what Vicky can say. But I say one.
Okay.
What happened? You got a headache. You're taking out the Jets.
Based upon my philosophy, right? And all of these things that Vicky had mentioned there, all of these characteristics, that is part of my philosophy. So this is why that any team that I go to, my philosophy don't change. And this is why in coaching, I have always been successful, because I own it. It's ingrained in me, and everybody knows from my being on the Zoom, you can't change my mind in anything. I am self-centered in my beliefs because it worked for me.
I have to
I'll talk to you.
I have to say, I think that Theon has rubbed off on you.
Yeah, no.
I think that there are a lot of concepts that you now consider because you've listened to Theon and you respect him.
No, it's true.
So
it's true.
I feel like you're stubborn, but I think that you have changed. I think that we all have changed.
No,
we've learned.
I would agree with that.
Vicky, I can guarantee you my phone will be ringing saying 9:30 tomorrow. Huh?
No. Okay, guys, this is how I learned to coach, right? I was you have to align yourself with individuals that you can learn from.
And who have your philosophy.
Right.
Similar philosophy.
So when I came from St. Vincent, immediately, there was someone who I aligned myself. I chose to go to that school. I saw them play. I liked the energy of the coach. And this is why I went there. And because of that, so 4 years of playing for him, his philosophy become my philosophy. I believe so much in what he did. And it was a winning philosophy. And that has never changed with me. So it was so easy for me when I become a coach, I maintain the same philosophy. Right? And this is why I'm so successful. Stacey?
You know what? I was never a FC Barcelona fan. Okay? I was never FC Barcelona fan. But in the days of Philip Kako, Frank De Boy, Patrick Kluivert, and Pep Guardiola, I used to follow that team in the 90s. And I always used to love how they play. And I always love the passing, the possession game. Although I'm a Man United fan throughout, but I learned a lot from them. So that was always my philosophy. If you can't pass, you can't. You basically can't win. And to be honest, seeing your team, your national team play,
it will hurt your head because it's not your philosophy.
Huh?
It would hurt your head. It would hurt your head.
Seeing Mr. Carrington national team play and seeing FC Barcelona play, and I'm like, wow, similar.
Why? Let me go now, man. Can you stroke any man ego now, man?
No. I'm dead serious. I tell you that all the time.
Now he was lucky.
Not lucky, no.
Let me finish his statement now. I could finish.
No.
I can finish. Let me finish it, and he would understand why. He would understand why I say he lucky. He was lucky with the 15 players he had, the type of players he had at that particular time.
Yeah,
it allowed for him to play that specifically.
But no, listen, okay. I had two different teams.
Yeah, you see where fans?
No, I had the local.
Let's go. Here's the next one. Athlete center or coach centered? Well, Sammy don't say he coach center. I like to share the decision making within my athletes or the players to the extent that they are prepared to make such decisions. The reason I do this is because on the field, they are the ones who are making the decision, and they should be willing and ready to make the decision and not be afraid of consequences. All right, the team is there too, and sharing the decision making increases their commitment to the team.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Mhm.
One thing I hate in game day, and I'm gonna be serious, is having to tell every player what to do.
But this is we went through this on the Zoom, Scramler.
They have to be able to comfortable with their decision. Yeah.
What is you remember we went over strategy and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that is what I hate.
Okay, so you have to realize, soccer is not an individual team. It's a team game, right? But we have to, as coaches, we have to allow the players to express themselves.
Exactly.
And this is where this is the beauty of the game, the creativity of the game comes in.
So you just let them make the decision.
Well, no, it doesn't work like that, though. It's not a team concept, though.
And this is where your philosophy in practice comes in.
Okay, wait, next. And don't forget all of these things that we're discussing on the Zoom.
I not forget nothing, Virgin.
Tactics.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. But you cannot be yelling out tactics in the game when you did it numerous times in practice. Where your philosophy already exists.
Okay, I was fortunate to have Tiant when he was starting out.
You have Tiant?
Yeah, the first time we started out, I was there, right?
And you jump him?
No, but he was brilliant.
You jump him?
No, he was brilliant.
I asked if he jump him.
If he drop in?
Yeah, you cut him.
No.
Right.
So some of these things still enter my mind. I mean, when you're talking there, when you have a team, scrambler, right? Like I said, there's offensively, there's 9 things that you have to do. There's like 9 things you have to do. And one is what you believe in, which is possession, right?
Sammy, this is the problem with some of our coaches. We even want to tell the kids how to kick the ball, if to poke it, if to kick with the laces, if to kick inside foot, outside foot, in game.
Okay, so let me ask you a question now. When you're in school, as a student, right? You only do penmanship?
Yeah.
And they show you how to hold the pen and all that kind of thing? You just go and hold the pen how you want to?
Penmanship is practice writing.
No, if the teacher will, this is why you're there to teach them, scrambler.
Yeah, but how about the philosophy of giving them their freedom?
Yes, you have to visit. You will want more freedom than that.
You want me to what?
Ends versus means. What are we thinking? Ends versus means. So, I'm aware not only of the letter of the rules, but the spirit of the rules. So some of us we only want to win, so we even quote unquote dabble inside the lines just to win instead of playing within the spirit of the rules. So that's just an example. This also exposes our character and who we are and what we teach. So it actually teaches cheating online and that kind of stuff. If that's the philosophy, then understand that this is the practice. Right? I want a winning team, but coaching ethically is more important to me. So I want to win, but how I win is quite important. All right? Family versus sport. I'm struggling with this one at the moment. Struggling a bit with this one.
Family versus sports.
Yeah.
You remember the same thing I just said about the lollipops? Who the parents always have a say.
But the context I'm using this one is in your family. So my family and my job or my coaching, how it affects my personal life.
Okay, I think I have an example. When we're growing up, right? We're Seventh Adventists, right? I play cricket, I play football, and I can't play on a Saturday. That is a problem. This is when the games are. So, as a family, you grew up in that belief. You don't live in your own house.
Yeah.
So you have to go along with what your parents say. Because remember, they have brought you up since since you're a baby, and instilling you certain things. Your character come from your parents, most of us, right? So as you reach 16 is a very dangerous age, 15, 16, right? I still live with my parents. I have to make that decision, Am I going to follow them with the church thing? But I want to play football. This is my future. So it's not until immediately after I left their house in St. Vincent, I was able to play on a Saturday. I forgot about church. Sad to say. Play on a Saturday and play on a Sunday.
So your religion is football. Your religion is football.
Let me just say something. Having kids and have a regular job. Having kids and have a regular job and have a wife and everything. And come home and like soccer. You come home, you just change quick, and then you go to soccer. And the balance wasn't there for me.
You know why?
Huh?
He didn't, at first, when a romance, he didn't interview the wife. He didn't tell she that his soccer come first. He didn't tell she all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So that the philosophy would align, Sammy.
Yes, because I tell you, with me right now, that's the first thing I say.
so the balance wasn't there, and although I get her into soccer, she could not handle it and say, well, let me write it out.
How did it work? Then got some mama, she mama guy, your man.
I'm going to tell a star.
So Kamla,
Yeah.
you single now?
Look, is anybody here? Anybody here?
Scambler, right? Scambler, I coach for a living, right? So it's 7 days a week. That Sunday when I come home from my 2 games, I have games recorded to watch. So I in man cave watching my games. So my ex-wife would ask me, how you coach soccer whole week, whole day, and come home and you still watching? And you know what I tell her? I say, you know, I'm a soccer fanatic. Coaching soccer gets in the way of me watching my soccer. So when I done coach, I have to watch soccer. But like I said, ex-wife.
Exactly. That's how it is.
But no, a lot of soccer coaches, because of soccer, their marriage, suffer. The family suffers.
And okay. No, for instance, I'm gonna read you guys this, and I want you guys to just give me an input on this. Okay? This is from my son today. We lost. I don't know what to do. I played amazing. It was another overtime loss. Mistake by our defense. Okay. I call him and I said, how much games do you guys have left? He said, 7. And so you played 4, you have 7, you win 1. You 2 went into overtime, 2 you lost outright. Fine. But you have 7 games. So what I need you to do is to just uplift yourself, uplift your other players, and just win the other 7 games.
It's all about the team. It's all about the team.
So these are the things I get from my kids.
Okay, guys, before we move on from family, right? And you guys, could answer this. Who gets the remote? Is there a problem? Who gets the remote? Who has the remote in their hand? As soon as get home, who has the remote in there?
As soon as I have like.
How's it before though, Sean? When you're married though, I'm talking about.
Huh?
You control the remote when you're married?
I was whatever she said goes.
No, from the time I walk in the house, the remote is in my hand.
Well, in that sense, from the time I walk in the house, I went to the man cave.
But this is why you have you call it the living room.
Man cave. Man cave.
And the man cave is a terrible thing to have because there's separation. You can't separate.
I went to the man cave.
What the channel name? Lifetime. They like the Lifetime channel.
No. I have 25 soccer channels.
No. You have to listen to me. Lifetime channel. You have to sit down a little bit and look at the Lifetime channel with them.
Sammy, you could recognize that these gentlemen had no balance. It was always about them.
Yeah.
So let's go again. Players. Yeah, they're not team players.
Yeah, I know you don't sit down and watch a Netflix movie with you already.
I do.
No, guys, I think I have more experience than all of you guys. We got into this, right? There has to be one night for them. And what I suggest to you guys, Friday night, because they work from Monday to Friday. Friday, you have to listen to them. You just have to, that's their night, Friday night. Because Saturday you go in the morning. And it starts over Sunday again. So Friday night is the best night. That's why.
So I'll segue into the next point this quantity versus quality. So the Friday has to be quality.
Yes. Yes, you have to be skillful. Real skillful too.
Yo, it's kind of difficult when you have your kids playing also. With my son, my other son, he came to me and said, "Look, Pops, I'm 17 now. I don't want to play my senior year. I don't want to play my senior year." He's like, I'm like, why? He's like, since I was 2, you guys had me in soccer. Okay? Had me in soccer. And then I had no fun. It like every weekend was game. Even on holidays, tournaments. And I'm not going to play in college. Okay? So I want my senior year to actually hang out with my school friends, hang out with my friends, do what I want. What could you do about that as a coach?
No, as a parent.
As a parent and a coach.
Just remind him what Vicky said there. Since he's 2 years old, all the things that Vicky mentioned just now.
It was never fun.
Right. All the things, you know, his character. Okay, for example, right, I really believe, you know, a child look up to his parents. For example, right, when I look at Theon, and Theon would not know that. Yeah, you would know that because, you know, Theon's father, they're so similar.
Brother?
Yeah, his mannerism, right? Everything, you know, including the Friday night thing. You understand? You gotta be, you know, including that. You understand what I'm saying? So, what does your father do? If you do it well, Scrambler, they will try to imitate their father. So, for example, okay, I'm in the Caribbean coaching, right? And they call and tell me, no, my son have never asked anything about coaching at all. They say he's a coach. I said, no, it's impossible. It's impossible. But so kids look at their parents to see exactly what they do, and they're trying to follow. If you do it, if the characteristics that Vicky mentioned are there and they follow it, they tend to be like their parents.
You become the 3 persons you're around the most.
But it is no. It is. You saying all of this, right? You saying all of this. It's like the only time I ever see my son, my last son, pissed with me, upset with me, was in a finals. In a finals, in the tournament that we play in the summer. We get to the finals, and it was 1-1, and I wanted to give some kids some game. So I took him off, and he like, we're gonna go to penalty shootout. We're gonna go to penalty shootout. So I'm like, I gotta give these kids some game. He's like, I don't care. I want to take a penalty. So I'm like, yo, just come on. Come. So, and we lose the penalty shootout. Jesus Christ.
Character building.
Huh? Yo, I'm driving back from South New Jersey, 3 hours driving, and no conversation. No conversation.
It's really difficult to coach your kids. It's very difficult because you're stuck in a position where you want to give opportunity to everybody, and that will prepare the position you're in.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would have done the same thing.
But you have to know,
You know, I would have done the same thing.
you have to separate a parent and a coach. You have to know when you're a coach to him and when you're a parent. And you have to separate that.
But you know the advantage he has. He put the team together. Okay? He put the team together. He make all the contact and say, oh, we're going to play this summer. So he was very upset.
So you should have gone to him and say, listen, son, I see you have some traits that I have, you know. See how you put this thing together.
So it's quite interesting how we conversation segues into everything that we're gonna look at. So coaching versus guardian. Right?
Okay, go ahead.
Well done.
Perfect, yeah.
We are it boy can.
It's not my job to be their guardian, but they must follow the rules and code of conduct, or they will not be allowed to participate in the sport.
Right, and Scott, this is why at the beginning, this is why we're saying, you know, there must be a plan, and part of the plan is a code of conduct of the team, right? So if you follow all of these things, you know, at the end, you will be successful. So you can't miss this part of it at all.
Well, I think one of the difficulties when you're coaching your kid is that some parents don't have a grasp on that, and they let their kids kind of run over them. Other, it's the opposite, where they're just kind of like bullies.
Ricky, I was coaching my son, my other son, top team in the WSR, and like 5 minutes into the game. 5 minutes into the game, I'm telling him, once we don't have the ball, you need to jump back. And he went, what? I'm like, okay, come. Sit your ass on the bench. Then we needed to win the game to win the league. Then he like halftime, his mother came over. I want to talk to you. I said, no, talk to the manager. Go find her, talk to her. Yeah, and then the manager came to me. Oh, why Recon is not in the game? I said, go and talk to Recon.
Well, okay, Skama, but when you're a parent coach, you have to set the boundaries, you know, you have to let them know.
At home?
No. You have to let your wife know. She can't come and tell you who to put in the game. She, you know, and he can't tell you, you know, your coach, you're his coach. You're not a parent at that time.
So, and that's the first time, so I didn't make it go further.
So what happened the second time and third time? Never happened again, right?
Never happened again.
Come on, man.
And we won the league. But here we won the game. We were down 1-0. And 20 minutes to go, he came, Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't know my reaction. I was just reacting to the game situation. And I'm like, yo, defense is a part of the game also. Okay? Yeah. So I'm going to give you another chance. He went in and he scored 2.
Right. And come on, what it is, they're learning from, and this is why, and Tiani go like this, why are we coaching? That, why, I mean, this is what I like about this show, man. Why are we for this reason? It's a learning process. Come on,
And,
God.
and then his mother was all happy. Everybody was all happy. And I put him aside and said, "Look, don't do that shit again.
Ever, especially from my team. Don't show me up like that.
Once I'm talking to you on the field,
Exactly.
you listen to me.
Exactly.
You're not bigger than me.
Right. When did we show it? When did we show? So it changed now from being a coach to when I reach home. When I reach home now to a parent.
Yeah.
You understand? Never you show me up man, I'll cut your throat, boy.
So look, I tell you this session just segue nice, So now we gotta consider all the kids' voices, not just the gifted ones. I will find a place for every young person who wants to be a member of the team. So if you're part of the team, you will get a chance. So that's why his son couldn't understand why he wanted to give the kids a game, and even though they lost the final, he wasn't talking to him. So it's a process. It's a process. So here's another one again. Segue nice, eh? Goals of the athletes versus goals of the parents.
Yeah, I like it.
And Connor, this is where you should really handle this one, because the goals of your parents is for them to get the playing time and get them to I guess the best teams or the college teams or something like that.
Yes, yeah, so it's finding the balance between what both of them want. And kind of getting your philosophy to come out balance.
You gotta make the parents understand.
You gotta have a conversation.
Yeah, you gotta have that conversation. Like for instance, I'm coaching the ODPT, and crunch time. I have 25 players on my roster. I have to cut 7 because I got to be down to 18 to go at this tournament. Okay? Me and my assistant coach, we went over the players, and we say who impress us, who is so, and who can be development, and who is definitely not it. I cut a player. The next thing I know, I'm getting a call from the director, and the director is sending me a video of the player doing individuals with a coach. Okay, individual with a coach, dribbling to cone and shooting. And the reason why I cut him was for the same reason. Because when he pick up the ball, head jump, you want to take on 6 players.
And he ain't passing. So he can't be a part of my philosophy.
Yeah. So he even went to Eastern New York. The ODP organization in Eastern New York. How will I feel if Eastern New York make a decision and say, you got to put him on the team? And there was a discussion. And I'm like, I'm not putting him on my team.
I'm not. Remember, at the beginning, right? You mentioned that these parents pay them money for the kids. Everybody has to play.
Yeah.
Everyone has to play.
But with ODP, you pay money up to that point.
Okay.
And then there's another payment once you make the team.
Okay. Okay. Speaking about this topic, right? Then, and it's very important for we as coaches, you know, who has teams. All of these things that we discussed tonight, in our meeting with the parents and the team, the athletes, right? Like, for example, with the athletes, you know, as a team, you have to set goals for the team before the season starts.
Let me ask you, what league do you play? What kind of goal are you going to set? Do you know the team?
I mean, some of the goals could be simple. I mean, you know, like for example,
my goal is
to know the team.
My goal is to outpossess teams.
Okay, that's one goal. Another goal, you know, you want to score in the first 25 minutes. I mean, all these are goals but all of these things, you know, you have to set, and they have to know. You have to go over as a team what is priority and stuff like that, you know, and you have to set the goals and measure your goals throughout the season, and that will be part of your success. Not just winning, not the 3 to win on Sunday.
As I said, and Vicky tapped me up like this is a few weeks ago. When I said I went to a tournament and I know I could not have won the tournament, and I told the kids, if you can make 1 combination, 2 combination, 3 combination, that's a point. That's a point. So we just focused on that to the tournament.
But by losing also, you can get teachable moments from, you know.
Yeah, and we didn't care about losing. Because we were 7 years and 8 years, and we play in U9, U10.
So what is it about? It is about coaching for character.
Exactly.
What it is about,
Exactly.
right? Sports do not build character. They reveal it. What do you think about that one? It shows who you are, and it shows where the philosophy comes from.
So don't make any excuses. You're making excuses about your age and all that kind of stuff, Scrambler.
Coaching involves life lessons as well as sports training.
And it started at an early age, you know that.
Can coaches really build character? Have your life.
Is this Scrambler? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Have your life beliefs or your character been shaped by a coach from your past? So consider this when you're coaching, how you are influencing these particular players. When I ask about you,
hold on. Okay. I have this one player. There was a video when Cristiano Ronaldo and Alex Ferguson, when Alex Ferguson wait at the bottom of the stairs for Cristiano Ronaldo to come down after they win the Euros. A player sent me, my player sent, I talk to him all the time. He sent me the video and he said, Coach, this is you and I. This is you and I. Because the impact you have on my life. It's all about having that impact. I can talk to all of my former players. I can look, I had, I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when my son scored in overtime. One my player called me and said, your coach, he is in college, he playing in college. He like, coach, I heard what Remani did, and he doing good. And it's like once you can talk to all your players, it shows that you develop something.
Yep. So here's questions for you, and you don't need to answer them, but just ponder on them. All right, just ponder on them. Let's go. Who am I? Yeah, get that clear. What do I want in life? How appropriate is my behavior to my lifestyle goals? Am I proud or ashamed of who I am? Why? Am I happy or unhappy? Why? What do I value and why? Why do I coach? Am I coaching for the right reasons? Am I a good coach? So what's key in developing philosophy is all of these questions need to be aligned for it to be a proper reflection and not a contradiction within itself. Similarly, you want to develop a philosophy, you have to look at what do I want to accomplish? What do your athletes want to accomplish? What are the priorities for all of us? What are your responsibilities? What methods will you use to achieve your goals? How will you define success? How will practices and games be organized? What are team ground rules? What are the commitments and consequences? How will you develop a team or a group philosophy set of values? Hearing it, scripture reading for
That was good, yeah.
Wait, Shama, I just want you to take something away from this, right?
Every week I take numerous of things away.
Okay. One of your listen to you on the Zoom, right?
Mm.
Yeah, that's okay.
The outcome is so important to you.
Because coach.
Like, can I stop it, right?
Anyway,
I want your kids
for the right
must have
reasons.
performance goals for them.
Am I a good
Instead of the
coach?
instead of the
What's key in developing it?
Just try that, just take,
all of these questions. But he mentioned some performance goals would be to be a proper reflection and not a contradiction. Can we make combination passes? That was a performance goal. That's when he said, what do I want? If we make a combination pass, that would be a point or whatever. So that could be one.
You want me to win